Hello students, in today's lecture of AC machine design, we are going to see the design of wound rotor. We have already completed in our previous lectures the design of the squirrel cage rotors, right? Now we are going to see another type of the rotor, that is wound rotor type. Generally, wound rotor type is preferred where the requirement of high starting torque is present, right? So wound rotor type, in this topic we are going to see how many number of turns are there, what is the cross sectional area of the rotor conductors, what about the types of the winding, what about the insulations that are to be provided in the slots. Then we will talk about the rotor teeth, what should be its width, what should be the what, and then about the rotor core. Okay, what should be its diameter. These all the things we are going to cover in this topic. So first of all, we will start with number of rotor turns. Now, in some of the machine subject, you might have studied an analogy between the induction motor and our transformer, right? Both are different but can be compared with each other, because we know the basic difference between the two is transformer is a static device, whereas induction motor is our rotating device. But the primary side of the transformer can be compared to the stator, and the secondary in the induction motor, which is rotor, which is rotating, can be compared with the secondary of the transformer, right? Now what happens, the rotor voltage between the slip rings is limited to 500 volt in case of the small machines. That is, for small machines the voltage limit between the slip rings is limited to 500 and 1000 volt in case of the large machines. Okay, also the current is limited to give the convenient cross sectional area to the brush gears. So these are the factual data that for the smaller machine, the voltage brush limit is around 500 volt for smaller machines, whereas for the larger machines it is about 1000 volt. Now here TS is nothing but the number of turns per phase on stator, TR is number of turns per phase on rotor, KWS is winding factor of for stator, KWR is nothing but the winding factor for rotor, ES is the voltage per phase applied to the stator, and ER is the voltage per phase induced in the rotor, right? As I already said, it is compared to the secondary side. So in the transformer also, when we connect an AC voltage on the primary side, we get the voltage induced on the secondary, right? In the same way, when we give the supply to the stator, a voltage is induced in the secondary, that is our rotor. So ER is nothing but the voltage induced per phase at standstill, that is important thing. So in transformer you might have studied about the ratios of the transformer, that is E2 by E1 is equal to V2 by V1 is equal to N2 by N1. Okay, so these are the transformation ratios of the transformer. In the same way, for the motor also we can write is ER by ES, that is the EMF induced in rotor upon EMF induced in the stator, is equal to KWR, that is winding factor of the stator, upon KWS, that is winding factor of the rotor stator, and TR is the number of turns per phase of the rotor upon TS is number of turns in the stator winding. Now we are interested in finding the number of turns in the rotor, that is our TR. So we can take TR on the other side, we will get the equation TR is equal to, so its equation is KWSER upon KWRES into TS. So the number of turns per phase of the rotor can be easily determined if we know all these values, right? And this will be provided to you in your numericals also, right? So now moving further, smaller machines. Now in the smaller machines, what happens? In the smaller machines, ER, that is the induced EMF in the rotor, is less than 500 volt for the delta connection, and if it is a star, we need to convert that. Okay, so we will be getting 500 upon root 2 is equal to 290 volt for the star connection. So these are the factual data. You must remember is what is the number of turns per phase in the rotor is given by the equation. So you have to remember this equation, right? Now moving further, current in the rotor conductor. This equation we have already seen for the stator also. It is same. IR is equal to 0.85 IS into TS upon TR, right? So this is the equation for the current in the rotor conductor. This we have already derived also. And for the current density in the rotor, suppose the current density in the rotor conductor is delta R, right? It is delta R. So delta R is, as I have told already, that this equation remains same, that is the current upon cross sectional area. And suppose you are designing it for rotor, we have to place delta R, IR and AR. So this is the equation. Now generally standard wire gauge is recommended for lower rating machines, whereas bar conductors are used for the higher rating of the machines, right? So this was about the number of rotor turns that we have already derived. Okay, now we will move further. Slot insulations. Now what happens, whenever the coil voltage is up to 600 volt, insulation thickness is about 0.7 mm, and if the voltage is higher up to 2500 volt, then the thickness of the coil is 1 mm, right? The thickness of the coil is 1 mm. Okay, and which type of materials are used for the insulation purposes, that is varnish, paper, cambric, that all the things are used as an insulation in this type of the rotor design, right? Now when we move further, we talk about the rotor winding. Generally mush winding in the semi enclosed slots is used for the rotor of the motor up to 37.5 kilowatt rating, right? Normally the large number of wires in parallel per turn are used. Okay, the winding is usually star connected and the terminals are brought out on the slip rings. Okay, now what happens in large motors, what happens, we use double layer bar type wave winding. Okay, that is 2 bars per slot, each slot containing 2 bars. Okay, the bars are pushed through and are bent at the ends. Okay, so this you don't have to remember much things, you have to just know about the things that mush winding is used for the smaller machines, whereas for larger machines we use double layer bar type. And for the motor rating up to 1000 kilowatt, what we do, we use 4 bars per slot to reduce the current handled by each slip ring. Okay, such type of winding is called barrel winding and usually wave wound, right? So this was about the rotor winding. Now rotor teeth. Okay, now rotor teeth. Now suppose this is our rotor. Okay, so this portion is known as a teeth of the rotor. Okay, now we are going to see the teeth, we are going to see the design of the teeth. Okay, the width of the teeth is minimum at the root, and there the flux density should be less than the limiting value of 1.7 Tesla. Now current flux density is limited, it has an upper boundary point, that is 1.7 Tesla, right? Above that what will happen, there will be saturation, there will be magnetic saturation, and we don't want that to happen. So we will design it in such a way that the flux density do not exceed the value of 1.7 Tesla, right? So the minimum tooth width is given by flux per pole upon maximum allowable flux density, slots per pole, and net iron length, right? So flux per pole is given by 5m, maximum available flux density is 1.7, that is already decided over here, right? And number of slots per pole is given by SR by P. Here SR by P, P is the number of poles and SR is the number of slots in the rotor. Okay, and net iron length is given by IT or LT, right? So this is the equation for the minimum tooth width. Also you can use the equation pi into dr to dsr upon sr minus wsr. Okay, where ds is nothing but the depth of the rotor slot and wsr is the width of the rotor slot. Okay, now last topic in the design of the rotor is about the rotor core. Okay, now in the rotor core the flux density is given by BCR, or you can see, or we can directly use the notation dr. Okay, that is the flux density in the rotor core. Okay, it is kept same as that of the stator core. Okay, the design or the flux density should remain same for the rotor core as well as the stator core. Okay, so the depth of the stator core is given by 5m, that is the flux per pole, 2 into BCR, that is nothing but the flux density in the rotor core, and Li is the length. Okay, the inside diameter of the rotor stamping is given by DLR is equal to dr minus 2 dsr plus dcr. Okay, so this is the inside diameter of the rotor stamping, and this is nothing but the depth of the core. Okay, so this was the design of the rotor core. We have already seen in the rotor design that first of all, where we are using this wound rotor type, where the requirement is of high starting torque, right? Then we first found the number of rotor turns, and it was given by the equation TR is equal to KWS-ER upon KWR-ES into TS. So this was the equation for the number of rotor turns per phase. Now then we talked about slot insulation, and in that it has been clearly told that up to the voltage of 600 volt, it is the thickness of the insulation is 0.7, whereas above or up to 2500 volt the thickness is 1 mm. Which type of insulators are you are using? Insulators are used varnish, cotton tape, cambric paper. Okay, these all are used. Then the type of the rotor windings also. Then we decided the rotor teeth, minimum rotor teeth, so that the value of the flux density do not exceed the value of 1.7 Tesla. Okay, and based on that equation was given for the minimum tooth width, that is 5m upon 1.7 SR by P, that is slots per pole into net iron length. And last, about the rotor core, we have to keep the flux density same as that of the stator core. Okay, so the depth is given by dCr is equal to 5m upon 2 dCr into Li, and then inside diameter is given by this equation. Okay, so we are completing with the design of the wound rotor, right? And in next lecture we will be seeing about the leakage reactance calculations. Okay.